Marvell Technology stock price has almost doubled in the last 6 months, soaring from around $60 a share to almost $120 a share as of this recording. But is it too late to buy Marvell stock? Should investors buy Marvell stock right now in 2025? I'm going to answer that question in this video, looking at the company's financial metrics, including revenue growth, operating income, and cash flow from operations. And then I'm going to compare that against its valuation. I'm going to look at two separate valuation metrics, its forward price to earnings ratio and my discounted cash flow valuation for Marvell Technology before I come to the conclusion and answer the question if the stock is a buy at current prices.
I want to thank The Motley Fool for sponsoring this video. Visit fool.com/Parkev for the 10 best stocks to buy now.
So Marvell Technology over the last 5 years has not demonstrated growth over the last few years. So it's been a tale of two stories here. In between 2020 and 2023, there was significant growth, revenue expanding from 2.6 billion all the way to 6 billion. And then there was a regression here, and the company has yet to recover, although it has started to accelerate growth. It has turned it around. It's still at 5.4 billion below the peak level of 6 billion. Now, the semiconductor market has been two-sided. On the one side, the semiconductors that are going into data centers optimized for artificial intelligence, that part of the market is absolutely thriving and soaring. And then you have the other side of the semiconductor market. Those are the semiconductors that are going into consumer electronic devices like cars, smartphones, personal computers, laptops, tablets, etc. And that part of the market is not growing. It's essentially flat, and there's parts that are declining, that are parts that are growing low single digits. It's not an exciting market yet. However, even that part of the market is forecast to jump over these next couple of years. And part of the reason for that is an oncoming replacement cycle. The reason why that part of the market is not growing just yet is because so many consumer electronics were purchased in 2020 and 2021, and even early parts of 2022. And these are long-lasting devices, right? All of the devices I mentioned last at least a couple of years, some of them even longer, right? You're talking laptops, personal computers, cars, tablets. These are all multi-year devices. And so when you buy one in 2020 or 2021, you're probably not going to replace that device for several years. And that's what created a bit of a slowdown or decline in revenues in that part of the market. So the data that's been coming out on that part of the market was forecasting a recovery in the last 3 months of 2024. But that didn't really happen. The forecasts were off. And so now the industry forecasters just pushed it out. They didn't say that that part of the market is not going to recover. They just said that part of the market will recover a little bit later than expected. And then you have the exciting part of the semiconductor market, which is the artificial intelligence market, the market for data centers being built and optimized for AI. And that part of the semiconductor market is soaring and still growing, right? You've got that part of the market expected to increase by hundreds of billions of dollars between now and 2030. So that's a kind of overview of the semiconductor market in the markets that Marvell Technology operates in. And so you can get an understanding of why its revenue, after soaring in 2020, 2021, and 2022, has hit a bit of a wall and is now only starting to recover from those declines. And that's really what's driving the increase in Marvell Technology stock price, is that it stopped these declines and it turned it around. I know you might not be able to see this small turnaround here, but that turnaround has begun, and the management of Marvell Technology has talked very optimistic about their upcoming quarters and upcoming fiscal year. So because of those declines in recent years, Marvell Technology's operating income on a trailing 12-month period also declined and turned negative at negative 596 million. The semiconductor industry is always cyclical, and in recent years, the unprecedented circumstances caused by the pandemic created even more cyclicality to the industry. So even though its operating income was negative, its cash flow from operations is comfortably positive, 1.71 billion in cash flow from operations. That's more than 3x where it was in 2020 at around 400 million. In fact, more than 4x where it was in 2020. Sometimes differences in cash flow from operations and operating income arise from factors such as stock-based compensation, which is a non-cash expense, depreciation and amortization, which is also a non-cash expense, and sometimes companies endure restructuring expenses and write-downs of intangible assets, again, non-cash expenses that leads to negatives in profitability, but since it's a non-cash expense, the cash flow from operations are still positive. So looking ahead, the analysts on Wall Street that are following Marvell Technology stock, they expect its free cash flow will rise from 1 billion in 2024 all the way up to 4.27 billion in 2029. So another 4x increase of its free cash flow over these next 5 years, similar to what they experienced in the previous few years. So excellent growth in free cash flow expected for Marvell Technology. The Wall Street analysts are optimistic about this company, and so is the company's management. The company's management team is also optimistic. So now let's look at valuation. First, looking at the forward price to earnings ratio, Marvell Technology is trading at a forward PE of 43, which is near the highest it's been going back to early 2022 when you're measuring according to this metric. However, that's just one way to look at a company's valuation. Another way I like to look at a valuation is through a discounted cash flow model. And for Marvell Technology, my intrinsic value per share calculation came to the stock price being worth $73.35 when the current market price is $118. So my conclusion with Marvell Technology is that even though it's an excellent business with excellent prospects in free cash flow growth in an industry that's in recovery in one part of the market and then absolutely thriving in the other part of the market, all of that is great, but the valuation is too rich. So for that reason, if I were to rate this stock, I would rate Marvell Technology as a hold for 2025. So if you're considering buy, hold, or sell, I have it rated in the middle as a hold. Did you know that over 90% of the people that watch my channel are not subscribed? It'll really help support my channel if you hit that subscribe button. And oh, by the way, one of the benefits of being subscribed is that I take requests from subscribers more often than I do from non-subscribers. So if you prefer that benefit, please subscribe to the channel.